न्यूज केंद्र चॅनलला लाईक व सबस्क्राईब करा.
Namaskar, respected Captain V.K. Tyagi sir, my eminent colleagues, Captain Azad, Shri Dipen Bisen ji, Praveen Nair ji, Chair and President of IMEI, Rajiv Nair ji, Captain Basim sir, office bearers and trustees of the BES, CEO BES, Captain Khatri ji, other eminent lead individuals who have contributed richly to what BES is doing for the last 2 decades. My sincere respects to all. And we stand at an interesting cusp. I will run through this presentation because it's been a long day for all of you and I wouldn't want to implore myself. However, I'm also leaving this presentation, as I mentioned to Captain Kedar, along with a detailed note so that it synchronizes with what exactly BES also is attempting to do. Because I firmly believe we are pillars and partners in the maritime domain serving Indian national interests. This is what I just wanted to run through, and I will be very quick, so you'll have to pardon me, the slides are slightly quickly running through. The Director General of Shipping is transitioning to the Director General of Maritime Administration. However, the first and foremost responsibility is that of being a guardian for the seafarer. Right from the day you enter the portals of a maritime training institute to your entire career, both on board and also when you sign off and are on shore. The DGS's primary responsibility is, as has been very ably said in one of the seafarer unions, NUSI, from cradle to grave. I firmly believe in that, and that is how the DGS and now the Director General of Maritime Administration looks at its role. The second paramount pillar I feel, and I fully endorse, is we have a 5,000-year maritime heritage and we are recognized globally as a foremost seafarer contributing nation. But this identity of India as a maritime nation is because of the seafarer and because of what service he does as a key worker globally. Just a broad footspread of what the DGS is presently doing. This is how the Director General of Shipping is evolving from just not looking at mercantile marine, but also now looking at very closely port operations for sustainability, for efficiency, for safety. It will look at shipyards, as was mentioned by Captain Tyagi sir, for operational aspects, the entire connect of what is called as the occupational safety, health and environment. It will look at ship recycling centers, which was again flagged by Captain Tyagi sir very eloquently, where he said the entire circular economy. The basic premise here is, if you are going to break a ship in India, you get a ship breaking credit note, which is 40% of the value of the transaction for the ship to be broken. That credit note can then go in as an input capital cost for new build in India. So 40% coming on the side of basically the new vessel being built in India, powering Atmanirbhar Bharat, plus if it is a non-conventional or a hybrid new vessel, 30% from the shipbuilding finance assistance scheme upfront as subsidy. So 70% of the cost technically speaking, is knocked off. Can't get any more aggressive than this. This is the two vision documents which is addressing what we are trying to do, and I would sincerely urge each one of you, especially the young cadets, the trainees, that this is what is the roadmap laid ahead for your future, and it gives you a very, very good primer as to what we are engaging with. These are the four pillars of how we enhance India's seafaring pool, and this is there in the Maritime India Vision 2030. Quality maritime training, improved onboard training opportunities. Captain Tyagi had mentioned how we are looking at increasing the training berths. We are also looking at bringing back the era where we had training ships. T.S. Rajendra, T.S. Chanakya, they're all training ships. So if you have ship on board berths, the fact which was flagged by Shri Bisenji, that after the training, the ship on board training, the percentages is much lesser than is desired. This is also resulting in a grey kind of a situation where cadets are having to pay money to secure on-board berths. That situation is an anomaly because of the old technology stack, and we need to revise that. These are levers of how you ensure more and more opportunities for jobs for seafarers, and I want to assure the House, DG Shipping is doing what is needed to fulfill the specific goal of increasing 12% to 20% of the global seafaring pool. This is the BIMCO study. Again, globally we have not had many critical studies, but if you look at this, there is a projected shortfall of 26,000 officers. And we are doing it situationally in every job market, so that when you pass out and do take up a seafaring career, you should be offered the best because of your competencies. This is as on date where we stand. You can see a continuous rise in the number of seafarers. You look at the active seafarers, close to 318,000. Women seafarers is definitely on the rise. More than 700% increase has been seen. However, if you look at the other data which is there, it's very concerning. Death, missing seafarers, stranded and abandoned. Now this is where we are working as hard as possible to reduce the incidents of maritime casualty and also the phenomena being witnessed where India is infamously the country having the highest number of abandoned seafarers. This is a concern we have to address on priority. The Sagar Mein Samman initiative is all about gender inclusion. More and more women in the seafaring pool. And as I said, we have witnessed 700% growth. And this is how we are working towards ensuring more and more ladies take up careers in the maritime. This is the strategic alignment, and we are working on a draft policy which will ensure that the right numbers are there and women walk step by step with their male professional counterparts. This is a broad snapshot of the numbers. Pardon me if I am going quick. I would be requesting Captain Khatri that I will be leaving a soft copy, and this will also be displayed on the website of the DG Shipping for everyone to have access. The HTW committee in IMO has been advocating 22 areas which we are now incorporating into the formal training curriculum, and this is where also addressing well-being for seafarers is something that BES can also assist us when we are looking at the training dispensation. 10 specific components, 10 dimensions of wellness which need to be incorporated, not just for seafarers, technically for all citizens. Now, this is something I wanted to stress as a specific slide, and it was related to what is the core essence of competency of a seafarer. What the Secretary General has said is skills and competencies can be the foremost, and it has to be maintained effective through maritime education, training, assessment, and reliable certification. These are all components. And this is a slide which actually tells you at the center lies competency, and the rest is something that the Maritime Administration as a deliverable has to do. This is essentially what was compiled by the Chief Surveyor during a very recent presentation at the same venue. This is the examination performed. I am grateful to the BES for having taken up the digitization for the ratings exit, and I warmly compliment them. The video that was shown earlier was a transition to a service level agreement, and as Captain Tyagi sir had mentioned, more and more responsibilities will come BES's way. I had mentioned in the video maritime casualty investigation and support because Captain Khatri was one of the pioneers who structured it in terms of individual casualty analysis. Both being industry bodies, CMMI and IMEA, we're looking forward to them. And this is what I am looking at, all of you to partner the Maritime Administration. On one slide, all the multiple initiatives that need to be grounded very, very firmly and institutionalized. The Maritime Training Institute module from the old technology stack to a new one which allows for dynamic batch sizing, ensures smart contracts, a learning management system which takes away the ambivalence and the ambiguity in the quality of classes being taught, because in all maritime institutes all over the country, and not only that, globally, a learning management system allows you standardization of the inputs in the class. Web-based simulation which allows you low capital intensive investment for providing trainees simulation on a web-based environment and not actual simulators, because that is much more capital intensive. However, that also is needed. Digitization of the training and assessment record, attendance monitoring in the Maritime Training Institutes effectively, and the rest essentially are using cutting edge technology to ensure once you enter a maritime career, the entire, from the beginning of the seafaring career training onwards to all aspects being digitally monitored without slippages. We have come out with the STCW nautical report under the lead of Captain Azad as the nautical advisor. You can look at the record certifications. Similarly, under the lead of the Chief Surveyor, we have come out with the STCW engineering annual report. And this is where both Mr. Hussain and Mr. Praveen Nair are leading from the training part, and here is where BES can contribute a lot in standardizing the training dispensation and certifications through the comprehensive inspection programs too. This is a very, very key initiative. You see, there is an ecosystem which exists which we are aware of, and we need to fight that by ensuring transparency and zero tolerance for cheating and fraud in maritime. No more agents, no more paying money, no more improper means, because that risks the life of the seafarers on vessels which basically are not of repute and of dependability. We'll take up extensively social media campaigns in that, and creating the pull factor. I believe all the young trainees are fortunate that you are joining an extremely challenging career. And what a wonderful career, because you will bring bread to all the homes, not just in India but globally, and you'll be recognized as key workers. And similar youth have to gravitate to these careers, wonderful careers in merchant navy. Green shipping is something I just wanted to flag because whatever we do, sustainability has to be at the core. I just wanted to run these few slides purely to outlay the significance of not avoiding